Pete here, and we want to demonstrate we've got the Arduino display working for what will be the Atlas Rx110 Tx110 combination. I'm using just a kind of a blank panel here that I built a while back, and it's good for testing because I can mount a display in it and an encoder and a switch. And this here is good for upper sideband, lower sideband. It's not wired in as yet, but we even have a splash screen in this, and I'll demo the splash screen. At least I think I will. There we go. There you go. Okay, so we have this, as I say, I have a jumper in there for its upper sideband. And so we want to go on 40 meters. You notice I hit the band switch right here, and I went to 40 meters. And now I've got it on 80 meters. There's it on 40. There it is on 20. There it is on 15. And there it is on 10. And I picked these frequencies just so they're now we're using the code that Dwayne suggested I use so that you don't get the flickering of the display. I haven't got that totally resolved for the lower frequencies, but on 20, 15, and 10 you get no flickering. And on 40 and 80 you get just a little on the hundreds digits, not on the main digit. And that's because there's a shift, and you got some of the residue of the earlier display. Like if it was on 14200, some of that would show up behind the 7195. So I did a little something that just the hundreds digit flickers a little bit on 80 and 40, which I think is acceptable to me. It may not be acceptable to the others. I kludged it to make it work, but you notice you get no flickering as such on 20, 15, and 10. And here we're tuning the kilohertz, tuning 10 kilohertz. I see I got a little overwrite on the hertz kilohertz. I have to go back and look at the code. You know, with this code stuff, you change one thing and then all of a sudden everything else changes. We're jumping at 100 kilohertz. Okay, I gotta go back and look at that. We're down at 10 hertz. That's now at 100. The default frequencies, when you change bands, it'll go at 14,200, 7,200, 3,800, 21,300, and 28,350. So while you may be off in the weeds on one of the other bands, when you switch it to a different band, it'll go to the default frequencies. And when you're on lower sideband, in fact, one of these will change. Okay, now immediately you're going to see this jump. Here's the lower sideband. Okay, there we are. This is N6QW. This is the Arduino. This is the band switch. Lets us switch to 5 bands, just like the 5 bands on the Atlas Rx110 Tx110. And we'll have upper and lower sideband select here, and then our main tuning knob. And again, this is just the prototyping panel. It lets me install a display and an encoder and anything else. All these extra holes let you rapidly test out stuff, and then you can install it. And boy, there's nothing like having stuff spread on the bench, and then the next thing you know, you got a short somewhere and you've blown up a whole bunch of gear. So anyway, this is Pete, N6QW, and we're moving along with the Arduino Si5351, which will be installed in the Atlas Rx110 Tx110.